right, so I've been driving the 2025 Hyundai IONIQ 5N, and I don't know if you can hear that, but that is a very cool, very fake engine sound. All right, so a little bit about this. I'll admit that I'm not the biggest EV fan. I have driven quite a number of them so far, and I haven't really loved any of them except for the Hyundai e-tron GT. That is a very cool, very beautiful car, which is a crazy deal on the used market right now, by the way. You can get 2023s with just a couple thousand miles for less than half of what they cost brand new MSRP. So if you're looking EV, I would definitely be sure to check out the e-tron GT. But also, if you're willing to spend $69,000, this thing is pretty amazing. And again, I say that as someone who doesn't even really enjoy EVs all that much. This is a pretty awesome car, and it's a way fun. It is easily my second favorite, almost first favorite electric vehicle. It's just really, really well done. You can feel the care and the thought and definitely the engineering that went into making this just really fun and good to drive. Yeah, it's honestly pretty surprising at how good it is and how much it just drives like a normal car. Like, you can have it in its normal comfort mode and it's just like any other EV, but you press this N button and it's like in a regular internal combustion vehicle. There's that sound, which they interestingly modeled after the Elantra N, which is a cool sounding car. But if you're gonna make something that's fake, why not give this something like crazy sounding, you know, like a V12 or a V8 or something, because it actually sounds pretty good. I think, you know, it's coming through the 8 speakers in here, and there's a couple speakers outside, out front and in the rear. Like, for example, if you put it in your N custom mode, let's see if you'll be able to hear this. I need to go a little bit faster. Yeah, there we go. Those crackles and pops. It's so crazy. It's like so funny. It's so funny. This car is hilarious. I'll give you a little bit more of that in just a second, but let's go back into the comfort mode here just to make it a little quieter. Okay, so let's just get some of these things out of the way here. This thing is so fun to drive. It drives a lot like a normal car. Its handling is really incredible, especially considering this is almost 5,000 pounds. It produces, with its NGB N-Grin button here, 641 horsepower, and it just rips 0 to 60 in 3 seconds flat. That runs the quarter mile in 11.1 seconds. So this thing really, really scoots, and Hyundai says it can go 2 laps of the Nürburgring full out, and without losing any performance, which is really incredible. It comes with huge tires and wheels that are forged, by the way, and these seats are very comfortable, manually adjustable, interestingly enough, but they are heated and ventilated, which is great, and both work really well. Heated steering wheel here. One very cool thing that I wasn't expecting, I think this is actually the first Hyundai / Kia / Genesis product that I've driven that has wireless Apple CarPlay, thankfully. So, yay, finally, wireless Apple CarPlay in Hyundai Genesis Kia product. The two 12-inch displays are, as seen in other Hyundai Kia Genesis products, is really good. The infotainment's good. I do wish there was a few more physical buttons for like the climate control and stuff down here, but it's not a big deal. The center console here is really handy for putting your wireless charging, your phone, you know, sunglasses, wallet. You've got cubbies down here, decent cubby here. Overall, the interior is awesome. The back seat is very spacious, and it slides forward And also, there's tons of cargo space. And if you were to fold down the rear seat, you'll have lots of room for pretty much anything you want to put in here. I mean, it's not quite a truck or a full-size SUV, but there's a lot of space, which is really usable. So it's a very comfortable, very practical interior. Let's turn this N plus sound back on here. And let's just let it rip here. So it's just incredible. It's so fun, and I know it's fake, but the more like visceral and more like feedback you get, I think, from a driving experience, the more interesting and fun it becomes. And even though it is all computer here with the sound and the dynamics of it shifting, it just makes for a really fun, kind of funny driving experience. It comes with a price. It's $69,000, which is a little pricey. I'll come back to that in a minute, but it is really good. And what's funny is when it's in this N mode and you've got 3 different like engine sound modes to pick from. I like the one that just is like the startup, the combustion sound, which is what this is, the Elantra N kind of sound. With that going, it really does feel like you can even feel the vibration in the door panels. It feels, even with like the power delivery, that this is like just a normal internal combustion car. If if it's depending on where the RPMs are, you can bury your foot and it'll take a minute to spool up and to boost. Anyway, the engineering is just like so cool, and so I really, really love and respect what Hyundai's done for the driving experience in this EV. It genuinely feels like they were trying to get the best of both worlds here. EV power and charging and all of that with the fun and the dynamics of something that's normally found in an ICE vehicle. And with that, I think it's just a home run. I really do. I only have some really just very minor qualms, and the main one, and it's kind of unavoidable, at least right now with the tech, is that it does still, even though the dampening and the suspension is really well set up and adjustable depending on your end personalization modes, there's no avoiding how heavy this can feel over certain road imperfections. And so you'll be dealing just with a little, you'll notice the weight a little bit, which is okay. The rest of it's just so good. I don't think you're really gonna mind. So as far as range goes, it's not amazing. When I got this up to 100% charged and with no air conditioning, nothing on, it said I had 250 miles of range. But of course, on these hot days, if you're blasting the AC and your cooled seat and radio and all the other stuff, it quickly drops to 200, 190. So charging the Hyundai IONIQ 5N, I took it from 50% to 80% in about 40 minutes, and it cost me about $20. And I have about 190 miles of range left. So not amazing range with this, and kind of honestly slow charging for it being a fast charger. But it's a very cool car regardless. So when I was done charging, it initially told me I had 190 miles of range in the IONIQ 5N. Now with the air conditioning barely on, I have 171 miles. And then if I turn the air conditioning all the way up, it drops it to 153 miles. Not wonderful. And man, almost 40 miles just for having the AC cranked. And that's about right. Hyundai claims it can go from 10 to 80% really, really fast, like in 20-25 minutes. That wasn't my experience. I was using a public fast charger, which I don't know if that has something to do with it. Probably has everything to do with it, honestly. But it took me to go from 50 to 80%. It took me about 40 minutes, and it was about $20. So it's still, if you're not charging at home and you don't have free charging, Let's give it another little acceleration here. There's those crackles and pops. Oh, it's so funny. There you go. It's undeniably fun. It's so dumb and so cool at the same time. I really like this car. And like, back to what I was saying, if you could just charge this at home, I mean, obviously your power bill's gonna go up, but I think that something like this could make a lot of sense for someone who's just driving around. You don't have like a huge commute, and you can charge it up every night, and I think you're gonna be set, you know? Because the range isn't amazing. I certainly wouldn't take it on like any long road trips or anything like that. But just for having fun and have something that's really practical, you can fit tons of stuff in here. You can fit adults back in the back just fine. I think you're just really gonna enjoy it, and it's just a really fun car, EV or not, honestly. So again, yeah, the only real qualms that I have are the range isn't amazing, it feels a little heavy, and it is surprisingly expensive. So this one, the MSRP is just under $69,000 with everything in it. And, you know, I can see how they got there with the performance and everything that's here, because it does handle, it does accelerate. It's just a really solid car. I still don't know if, like, for that money, if it's really something that I would be serious about. If, you know, depreciation might be one of your best friends with this. If you could find a lightly used one of these with, you know, 7,000 miles on it for like 45, 50, maybe that's a little too low, but 50, you know, somewhere in that range, 45, 50, maybe 55. I think this would be worth definitely considering, because it's just really cool and really fun. But for 70, I don't know yet, you know, like, especially when stuff, you know, things are coming down, you can get a lot of cars for about 70 grand. And so maybe, you know, maybe. As it is, guys, the Hyundai IONIQ 5N is just very, very cool. And it's an EV that is just good to drive. And once the tech even just continues to get better, it's just these things will get even better to drive and make even more sense. But as it is, it's very encouraging to drive an EV like this, because it shows that these can still be fun, these can still be drivers' cars, and honestly, it mimics a real internal combustion car like pretty well, and I'm amazed at the engineering that went into this. So anyway, drop your thoughts below, and like, comment, subscribe. As always, I really appreciate it. I love trying to just grow this channel, and would love to hear your thoughts about this car. And if you've bought one, what are your ownership experiences so far? So talk to you soon. See ya.